Two families fighting over one beautiful little girl. Her name is Veronica. She was adopted, but because she is part Cherokee, the courts gave her back to her biological father. But then the Supreme Court sided with the adoptive parents, saying the adoption was legal. Now, months later, the adoptive parents still do not have Veronica home, and they want some answers. Let's bring in today's legal dream team. We've got Tanya Miller and John Manuelian with us. Great to have you both here.
Great to be here.
All right. This is, it seems like someone's sleeping at the wheel here, right? We have courts to make decisions, but what good is a decision if no one's going to enforce this, Tanya?
Right. This is a really complicated and unusual case. Normally, adoptions and custody and that kind of stuff is an area strictly relegated to state courts. But we have this federal statute, because the child is part Native American, that gives the Supreme Court some jurisdiction to make the final call here. Well, not really the final call, but to send it back to the state courts to make a different determination. So it's unusual. You've got a child who is in another state, Oklahoma. You've got the Supreme Court in South Carolina and the adoptive parents in South Carolina. It's just going to take some time to untangle this whole thing.
Well, things are getting a little messy now, John, because you've got a father who did not return the child. He's going to turn himself in, but he's not giving up the baby. His parents apparently still have the baby. How does this get resolved? Because ultimately, this child needs some stability, whatever it's going to be.
Well, first, I would tell that gentleman that he needs to turn the baby over. He's committing a crime. The courts have ruled on this, and although he might not agree with it, he needs to turn over the baby. Otherwise, he's going to be facing some serious criminal charges, including kidnapping. And then the other part is I'm torn, obviously, between the biological father wanting his daughter and the adoptive parents. They do have to go through the proper channels and the proper proceedings. He just can't take the law into his own hands. And, you know, he has the remedies of going to civil court after he turns his daughter Veronica in.
And Tanya, that's the thing that's heartbreaking about this, right? You know, it's two families that love and want this child.
Right.
But his chances have taken a major nosedive at any point now if he's going to do this, because there has to be some sort of opportunity where I have to think the adoptive parents perhaps would like to have dad in the picture to a certain extent, and everyone can get along, which is ultimately what's in the best interest of this little girl. But if he's not giving the child back, he's almost taking himself out of the picture, ultimately.
Exactly. Look, he is doing, at this point, he's really doing himself a disservice, but your heart goes out to him because you have to think.
It's all emotion. He's not thinking right now.
He's a father. This is his daughter. Biologically, she belongs to him. He's had her for the last 2 years or so. So this is a very difficult position that he's in. But you're right, Vinny. He is not doing himself a service by not turning the child over and showing that he can comply with the court's order. That's going to be very important to any kind of relationship that he's able to have with the child in the future. This is something people can work out.
Let's take a listen to what Dad had to say.
I'm going to fight until I have no fight left in me, until they say you can't fight no more. I mean, this is my daughter. This is not a yo-yo that I can just, you know, say, hey, I borrowed it for 2 years and here's it back. This is a living, breathing human being.
And again, John, I understand the fight. But the problem is, if he starts breaking the law in that fight, he is going to prejudice his own opportunities to be a part of this little girl's life.
Exactly. And you hit the nail right on the head. The magic words are best interest of the child. By doing what he's doing right now, he is showing that he is not acting in the best interest of his child, dragging her or taking her away from the judicial system and doing what he wants with her. Look, I sympathize with the guy. I understand completely. I have a daughter. I feel for him. But what he needs to do right now is go through the proper channels, give back his daughter, and fight it through the court system and not take the law into his own hands.
Yeah, I think we all feel sympathy for this man, that bond between a parent and child. But, you know, got to look at the best interest of the child. And we're hearing that Veronica is with her biological grandparents, Dustin Brown's mother and father. We don't know whether federal authorities will go in and get the child. Switching gears, Joshua Young is free today to live his life.